5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are around the world, that must apply to you. How are you? This is LTiDtv. It is the prediction show. And do you know what helps the show get going? Well, when you press the intro button, obviously. But what's more important than pressing the intro button is realising 30 seconds into the intro button, you've not pressed go live. Can't get the staff these days, says Chris, but that's why I'm here. I am Brad, this is LTiDtv. It is match week 28, and it is Predictions League. I'm the hostess with the mostest, and Chris is unfortunately a little bit unwell at the moment, so he's probably having a little snooze in bed. Tell you who isn't in bed and was ready and sat there scratching his chin and having a quick sneaky stars in her eyes backscreen is Josh. Yes, it's not Wayne from last week. It isn't Wayne's world. It is Josh's world. He is back with us. Josh, how the devil are you? As one great man once said. I have to. He's our boss.
I'm all right, pal. Not too bad. All things considered, apart from the football. Can't moan. Everybody's well and doing good. So, what about yourself, mate? How are you?
Yeah, again, pretty much the same thing. Life's going great. Work's going good. Partner and life in that respect is great. I've dropped my pen. But football. Shall we see if we can get Chris to change this channel to like Tiddlywinks or something? Because it's going to be and talking Leicester City. Oh, I mean, how the Leicester have robbed more points this season than deservedly got this season. The West Brom game we were talking backstage, and then obviously last night, Tuesday night, how we got away with that one, God only knows. It was a horror ending for Wrexham. I mean, Ryan Reynolds must be writing the game down notes as a horror movie to star in next, mustn't he?
It's one of them, mate. I think it's been like that with a lot of games this season where I've sort of tuned in 20 minutes in and my mind's wandered elsewhere and I've sort of had it on in the background and I could probably sit down and watch it again for another 10 minutes. But there's nothing this season for you to really grasp hold of. I think, right, I'm being entertained here. Do you know what I mean? We've had little spells here and there, but as you say on Tuesday, mate, it was just another complete get out of jail card. I felt really bad for Wrexham, to be honest with you. They fully deserved the win, and like a few times this season, we've sort of managed to sort of pull ourselves out the shit undeservedly. And again, it's another point towards you sort of hope staying up, I guess, with a looming points deduction as well.
Yeah, I mean, the points reduction is becoming like that song, If Tomorrow Never Comes. Well, if this points reduction never comes, we might end up like Sheffield Wednesday next season and start on a minus number. Yeah. Which, to be fair, given the state of the club, you wouldn't know the difference the way they're playing, would you? Hello to Millwall fan. He says, hi, everyone. And Shane Down says, hi, everyone. I may as well give up on the Predictions League. I'm doing terrible. You can't be doing any worse than Chris. He's so bad he kicked himself out. So keep going, Shane. Keep going, Shane. I have said to Chris, don't worry. For him, we'll keep him. He is top of A League. I just made a League One for him, just so he can feel special about himself. Millwall says it's 23rd January. No news about player transfers. Still not now without Wout Faes on loan. Trust me, that's a blessing in disguise. Are Leicester going to buy or sell some players? If you know that, I also want the lottery numbers, Millwall fan, because we ain't got a clue. Marty, backwards and sideways everywhere we go. Yeah, I've heard that song was doing the rounds on Twitter and TikTok and all that. But we're not here to talk transfers because we ain't got all that time in the world. Well, it'd be a short show actually if we did. It'd be like, no. Have we sold any? Only Faes, but end the show. We are match week 28 predictions and got a Friday night game to kick things off. And it's a stretch, but Sky and TNT, they love to make a stretch out of anything, especially orifice areas, but we won't talk about that for another show. Derby hosting West Brom. Now, if we thought we was bad, West Brom come into this game 19th after sacking Ryan Mason 2 games ago. They had an absolute horror show in midweek against revitalised Norwich, admittedly, but still it was a horror show. And Derby, well, you know, they're not near the playoffs, but they're okay away from relegation. They're sat in 10th on 41 points. West Brom down in the doldrums of 31, and we're not too far off them. It could be an interesting scrap for survival that we can get dragging into. I mean, where are you going with this one, Josh? Is it a simple home win or?
I think so, mate. I mean, with West Brom, I was sort of surprised and not surprised they got rid of Ryan Mason. I think, you know, I'm sure at the start of the season they had aspirations of maybe sort of being in and around the playoffs. I know I did. I thought they'd be up there. It's not gone that way for them. I didn't think under Ryan Mason, I mean, from what I could see, obviously I'm not a West Brom fan, but from what I've seen, and they weren't playing too bad. They just weren't getting results. I think best point in case is when they played us, I thought, you know, they deserved to beat us that night, and then Fatai pulls a worldie out his arse, and somehow we managed to come away with 3 points. So I thought he was a bit unlucky to get sacked. Derby, they're having a cracking season, to be honest. Maybe a bit inconsistent here and there, but they can get wins when it matters. So I think with this one, mate, yeah, I'd probably go for a home win on this one. I'd go 2-1 to Derby.
Josh is going 2-1 to Derby. Paulers and Millwall have already got their comments in the score predictions. If you want to comment along, you know, who are watching, make sure you do. Obviously, like those guys have, they put who 2 or in Millwall's case, he's gone for a draw. He's gone for 1-1. Are we having a Super 6 this week? Said Shane. That's Chris is ill at the moment. He is resting up. I'm sure he will post the Super 6 into there. If not, I will remind him. I'm not even sure. I don't even know if it's gone in the group, Shane. I don't think it has. He's not been very well, so it might be another week where we don't do a Super 6. But I'm writing mine and Josh's predictions down, and this I probably should have told Josh this beforehand, although I can't imagine if he does it that late, he'll ask for the Friday games. But give the predictions as if you were doing Super 6, and then at least then I can post them in. I didn't think about that, actually. I agree with you. There's been some dodgy results. Once a week, you probably get 1 or 2 results where you're like, how did they lose to how did they get a point? How did Sheffield Wednesday get a point from so-and-so, or Charlton going to upset the apple cart or something like that? But I just can't see it. I just can't see it. I don't know. You probably remember this, Josh, when we sat Seal Clapper, Brendan Rodgers. His number 2 came in charge for 2 games. I know one was against Villa, I believe, and the other one might have been Burnley. And there were big games for that season.
Yeah.
You know, given how it ended in the season, you know, we took it to the last day, admittedly under Dean Smith, and that guy came in for 2 games, and you thought, right, lay your foundations, mate. Give yourself, even if we replace you in 4 or 5 games, give yourself a platform to go, keep me around, new guy or whatever. And it was just like Brendan Rodgers turned up for the last 2 games, wasn't it? And that's the feeling I've got with their second in command at the moment. They're going to need to appoint someone quickly. And with that, as much as it somewhat pains me to say this, I'm going to go Derby County 3, West Bromwich Albion 0. Yeah, that was horrible. Should we move on quickly?
That's a big shout, that one, to be fair, but it's something I could see happening.
Well, I mean, I'm up near the top of the predictions league for a reason.
Yeah.
Josh, I don't know if you know this. I'm actually a 2-time champion. Chris might say there was only me, him, and Steve Lynex in it. Semantics. I don't pick my opponents. It's just how it goes. Now, I'm going to go. Let's go on to the Saturday games of the 12:30 kickoffs. Now, annoyingly, because I found out on this thing. I found out on the BBC Sport app that if you click on a fixture, it will tell you where they are in the league and what they're doing. I just did that for the Derby game, and it worked. I can't do it for the Saturday kickoffs, but never fear, I'll use the table for this one. Middlesbrough have climbed back into the automatics after a win last night over Stoke City. They take on playoff hopefuls Preston. It's an early kickoff, and when you know Ipswich have got a game in hand and are only 2 points off you, even in SSV, this is almost becoming have to win because it's an early kickoff, and the pressure is all on you. If you win the game, the pressure goes straight on to Ipswich and Hull City, who play later on. Middlesbrough found that balance. They lost a manager. They got him absolutely scalped from Wolves, which, I've had my piece and say on that. I think we should include managers in transfer windows. I think there should be a period where you're not allowed to poach them. Saying that, Wolves are probably very happy because it looks like with him at the helm now, they've got going. They're gonna avoid that illustrious Derby record. So Derby fans will be gutted. The Wolves are probably going to stop them. Replace them in that table. Is the pressure telling, though? Because they haven't been brilliant since Edwards has gone, although they did show signs under him of having a couple of banana skin slips. And one of the things you need with this strange inbred Midland side at the top is when they've slipped, Middlesbrough have slipped worse.
Yeah.
So this is a big game for both clubs. Preston 6th, Middlesbrough wanting to hold on to that automatic zone going into February. I know there's still a couple of games to go in this calendar month, but January is about 75 weeks. So, if they can get through January, it'd be a good one. Do you see this being it? Do you see them overcoming it? You see them, reopening up that 5-point gap against Ipswich and putting the pressure on them? Or are Preston going to solidify? Check me out using big words. Solidify their place in the playoffs.
It's going to be a tough one, this one, to call, mate. I mean, like you say, when you're playing at a time when teams in and around you aren't, it does add a lot more pressure because not only does it add a lot more eyes on the game as, neutral fans watching it. I mean, like this season so far, it don't really matter when we've played 12 o'clock, Sunday, Monday. I've not really felt any pressure, to be honest, because I'm sort of past the point. But always in the past, I've hated it when we've had an early kickoff or a late kickoff or, a Sunday game or a Monday game because it makes your performance and that fixture stand out. So you're always hoping that you can at least get something. Middlesbrough looking good though, I must say. I thought they'd. I thought when Edwards went, I thought they'd plummet down a little bit, but they managed to stick in there. And as you say, the pulling wins, from when they need them really. Preston. I mean, if this were at Deepdale, I could have potentially gone for a draw on this one, but I think being at home, it gives Middlesbrough the advantage for me. It's going to be a close one. I'll go 1-0 Middlesbrough.
He's given the Borough the sneaky win, which I'm sure Middlesbrough fans will love to hear. I just want to quickly go back and say Paul predicted 2-1 to Derby. Millwall went 1-1 for Derby West Brom. Get well soon, Chris from Shane. I'll make sure he gets the message. And Paul's gone for a Desmond. You know what? I've only just started hosting again this season. I already like that, Paul, that cut of his jib. Because I am also going to go for my Desmondo. It's traditional. Taxes death, and Brad goes for a 2-2. Last season, I had a tally chart. I might as well take over. If I'm taking over the show, I might as well take over Desmond. I just can't pick between them. And you know, they're both right up there. They'll be up for it. I think it'll get to about 60 minutes. We'll be at 2-2, and then neither team will want to lose this because I know there's still half a season to go, but you're getting to that point of the season where, especially for Middlesbrough, you don't want to, you don't want to start dropping points. Admittedly, to that, but you don't want to turn 1 point into 0. By over-committing for it. And if you get to 70, maybe 70, 75 minutes is more accurate. But if you get to the last 10, 15 minutes of the game, a 2-2 win at home, you go to your next game and get a win, that's 4 points out of 6. It's not a bad return. And again, you're constantly putting the pressure back on the Tractor Boys. So, another 12:30 kickoff, Josh. I mean, it come thick and fast, a bit like buses. It's Millwall versus Charlton. Millwall are like a bad smell. They won't go away. I guarantee you, even though they're doing really well so far this season, they will still finish 8th.
I'm not so sure, mate. I'm not so sure.
No, I said this long and hard, just a bit like what I just said about the death and taxes. There's one thing you can always predict. There's 2 things you can predict in this Championship division. Stoke will stay in it for the rest of their life, and Millwall will finish 8th. Charlton, however, not doing too great. They, along with probably a few others, are looking at Sheffield Wednesday, very thankful that their atrocious former owner got them in a position where survival is just impossible. As much as I love a fairy tale story, it's just impossible for me. But Charlton have been a bit of a dark horse recently, Steve. I know they're struggling down the bottom. They need to be getting points, especially when you're looking at, all right, I know neither teams are in great form at the moment, but you've got Leicester at home to Oxford. You're hoping they actually turn up and do you a favour. Southampton in a derby with Portsmouth, that's going to have tons of pressure on it. This is a game that Charlton, in a Londonish derby, Millwall, Charlton, if they can nick a point, it might just be another point towards that safety mark. Again, talking about the top end of the table, for them at the bottom end, this could be an absolute vital point come the end of May, come what may. Are they going to get it though, or are they going to get 3 points, Josh? Or is it? Sorry, guys, but the Green Street Elite are going to win this one. But
like you say with Charlton, mate. I think they've made a few decent signings over the last couple of weeks, and obviously they got Lyndon Dykes, and our fans are up in arms about signing him. Not a striker I'd want personally, but then again, if he can score goals, he's going to be a good signing. I think for a side like Charlton and their sort of aspirations, I guess you sort of think, yeah, he could do a decent job for them up top. It's Millwall, mate. I think they're an horrible team to play against, but they've played pretty decent stuff this season so far. And I'm going to disagree with you on this. I think they'll get playoffs this season, and they're probably my favourites to win the playoffs. Because I don't think it's the home games for them that are massive. Because going to the Den for any team, it's an horrible place to go and play football, especially with their fans behind them. This one, it's a close one. It's a London derby, so I was going to say I can't pick between them, but I'm going to go for a Millwall win. I'm going to go 2-1 Millwall.
2-1 Millwall. I still think they'll finish 8th. I think they'll have right, and I'm getting that in right now. Because maybe you can see where I'm going with this. with what I'm about to say. I still see them finishing 8th. I still see them having a bit of a collapse. Maybe them last 10 games, they'll fall off, and I don't know who they've got. No more, like I say that, and they'll have 6 of the bottom 6 literally for the last 10 games. But I can see it happening. However, I do think there'll be too much for Charlton here. If it was at the Valley, maybe. Maybe I could go 1-1. Maybe I could even sneak a Charlton win in there. But I'm going to agree with you on 2 fronts. I'm going to agree with you that Millwall win. Oh, do I think it's going to be a devastating loss? No, I'm not. I'm going to agree with you that Millwall are going to win. I'm going to agree with you that it's going to be 3 goals. But I'm giving them all to Millwall. I'm going for my second 3-0. I think there's a pattern here. If I go 2-2 for Birmingham Stoke, it's the pattern. Speaking of which, that is our next game. So, Paul has gone 1-1 in the chat. Let me just quickly go back to the wonderful, definitely not letting me down, BBC, and go to Saturday and scroll past the Muppet competition of the Scottish Premier League. I think that's disgusting, by the way. Just so I know, BBC, why is the Scottish Premiership ahead of the Championship? Because I'm pretty sure in your ranking system or whatever, the Championship's on the Scottish Premiership, but you go Premier League, Scottish, whatever. I'm not salty about it. It's the first It is Birmingham versus Stoke City. This is a game where, again, both teams can be a little bit hit and miss. Stoke were up there at the start. They had a flying season. You know, Mark Robbins is, from Coventry, was doing really well. He's someone that I would love for us to ditch Cifuentes and go and poach him for it. But then that would be very contradiction of me, considering what I said about Wolves doing that to Middlesbrough. And then you've got there's more. And then you've got they're at home to Birmingham, who now I'm not saying that some of their fans have an ego, but a little bit like certain other fans who we played on a Tuesday night, and not all of them. This is just a minority, just to say, because I haven't got any gripe with Wrexham. But some of their fans thought they were going to roll up the league, knock everybody out of the way, get into the Premier League, how's your father sort of thing. That's the attitude that Birmingham fans get. They brought that bloke for 10 million in League One, and, well, you brought the title there and then spending 10 million. Bloody hell, I don't think the League One combined spent 10 million. So, no shit Sherlock, as the expression goes. But for 13th, now, granted, they are ahead of us. They are ahead of us by 3 goals. Right, but still 13th. And Stoke, well, they're currently occupying Millwall's position in 8th. So they're just keeping it warm. Don't worry, they're just keeping it warm. Where do you see this one going, Josh? Because I, for one, I only really want one team to win this game, and I'm not going to give it away, but I just don't like the arrogance that they had in the lower divisions. But I wonder who that could have been. Paul went 1-1 for Millwall Charlton as well, before I forget. I do not mean to forget your predictions, guys, in the chat. Josh, it's Birmingham at home against Stoke. If this was end of the season, it'd be dead rubber. But right now, they've both got a chance to reignite any flailing playoff hopes, have they?
Yeah, I mean, Stoke, like you say, Stoke is still up there in and amongst it. Bit of a strange team now, Stoke. I mean, as you say, they started the season on fire and then they've sort of petered off, I guess, bit inconsistent with the results. Birmingham, much like Stoke, to be honest, inconsistent with how the results go. Not been mega impressed by Birmingham. They spent, again, I mean, in the summer, they spent quite a bit of money in bringing a lot of players in. A lot of them were flattered to deceive, I should say. But tough one to call. I think there'll be plenty of goals in it. I'm going to go for a Desmond on this one, pal. I'll go 2-2.
Oh, he's going for a Desmond Tutu. He's going for a Desmond Tutu. So on the Desmond counts, it's 1-1. Paul's gone 2-0 Brummies. I don't know if it's because they've just got a skanking NFL owner. I don't know if it's the arrogance out of although they thought they won League One and were going to piss the Championship. It don't work like that. You know, it don't happen like that. Not unless you've got, not unless you're going to have a team that should be Championship quality and bounce straight back up. And even then, it's not that simple to do it. You're not going to do League One to Championship to Premier League unless you throw in a shit ton of money at it. But I mean, I like Deadpool, so I'm not going to slate them for it. The team that I'm mentioned to be throwing money at it. To be fair, throwing money at it. Have they really? I don't know. But in this one, any other time I'd agree with you in a draw. Then I realise it says Birmingham at home. And I just don't like Birmingham. There's just something about that. There's something about them. It's got nothing to do with the fact that they're Midlands, because they're more the West Midlands, so they're not really rivals of ours in any great connection. We're obviously the better side of the train track. So I'm going to go on the off chance that Chris doesn't do a Super Six. This is going to be my one wild result, right? You're getting a Brad special. You know, if you've got like 10p on a betting account, and remember the fun when the fun stops, you got like 10p, 6p, whatever left over from free spins or something. Here's a scoreline for you: Birmingham City 0, Stoke City 4.
It's a shout, I must say.
I mean, that's why I said make sure it's only your scrap end earnings. I mean, now watch Chris go and put this in the predictions, and I've got to go and write that I went 4-0 Stoke. Moving on, Blackburn versus Watford. Now, my BBC wants to crash on me more times than Leicester want to let me down. So I'm ever the professional, guys. Ever the professional. I mean, these two teams. Watford are just, what they're going to do. We get more wins or have more managers each season. We are the second roundabout. Blackburn are a side that many thought, after surviving the last few seasons by the skin of their teeth, they would come straight back. They would fire back with a vengeance. They'd be up there challenging for it. It's Watford that are. They'll be hoping, Middlesbrough do them a favour in the early kickoff, because then that will put them in the playoffs ahead, or at least go ahead of Preston, unless a lot of results go against them. And Blackburn are looking nervous. They have got Sheffield Wednesday and Oxford below them, who are -7 and 24. So they've got a 4-point cushion over them, but they know that one win can just propel them up the table. It can take them all the way up to, granted, only 19th, but you're talking 32, 31, 30, 29 separates Portsmouth, Norwich, West Brom and Charlton and Sheffield United, respectively. So it's a real scrap down at the bottom there. Blackburn have to get going, and it's going to be difficult against Watford, but can they do it, Josh? Or is this going to be Watford's easy 3 points?
Got a bit of a soft spot for Blackburn, purely because one of my good friends is a Blackburn fan. They're a strange one, really. I mean, they sort of, Blackburn over the last month or so, they've really plummeted. I don't think it helps that they've had sort of games where they've been called off at half time and stuff. I think that would sort of have a big effect on maybe your confidence and things like that. Really, Watford is such a strange team to call. I mean, they could go on a decent run and then they'll lose a few games, and as you say, there's news about potentially sacking the manager. I think me on this one, mate, is more out of hope again because, as I say, I do like Blackburn. I'm going to go for a Blackburn 1-0 win on this one.
That was just the story of my life. Summing it up. That was the pen. Don't worry, I haven't dropped anything breakable. Goes on 2-1 to Watford. It's one of them again that if you're ever going to get a result that makes you go, "Ooh, really? I didn't expect that." It could be this, being as Blackburn are at home. But as we know, Josh, I know the fans were singing about Leicester going sideways and backwards at Wrexham on Tuesday night. But if it starts bad, if Watford get an early goal, we know how toxic and how quick an atmosphere changes at the best of times, let alone when you're playing at home. And I've just got this funny feeling that this is a game where that happens for Blackburn. I was tempted to go 3-1, but for me, that has to be Blackburn scoring first and Watford striking. I just don't see it. I can see an early goal in this one, but I do see it to Watford. I'm going a lot of nils on this one, but I'm going to go Blackburn 0, Watford 2. I think it'll be one of them where... Sorry, what did you go, Josh?
Oh, at 1-0 Blackburn.
He did. Oh, the pen dropping threw me off. I reckon it'll be a fairly comfortable game for Watford. They'll probably go 2-0 up, and then it's kind of like toying with your food. You know, like you see, they'll just mess with them a little bit. Probably miss a few half-decent chances to maybe get 3 and 4. But I think eventually it'll just evidently just peter out into an easy, comfortable... Well, it'll be an easy, comfortable day for Watford. It'll be a very uneasy time for Blackburn, who haven't been great with their managers, have they, either? That's another thing.
Yeah, it's two sort of, say, strangest teams, really. I mean, it was a tough one to call, but as I say, mate, sort of more out of hope, really, for Blackburn. That's why I gave them the 1-0 win. But the way I've gone this season with predictions, it's probably going to go to shit.
Yeah,
sorry, Blackburn fans, if I've put the kiss of death on you here, but
I mean, just be thankful, Blackburn fans, that Chris isn't predicting, because he'd probably have you down for a 3-0 win, and it'd be 2-0. Go to another 3 o'clock kickoff game. It is Bristol City versus Sheffield Wednesday. Now, Bristol City again, a bit like Stoke, they have slipped down a little bit. They were ever present in the playoffs for the majority of the first half of the season, of the Championship season. Obviously, drew 2-2 with Leicester early as well, and their second half come back from 2-0 down. But they've just seemed to have faltered at a time where teams in and around them have just started to propel and push on a little bit. And there's nothing scarier than playing a team that have nothing to play for. You see it all the time. I mean, I'm not trying to be smug here because I know there's no Tottenham fans that we're watching. But I remember when they were sat in a 2-horse race and they played Newcastle, who got relegated after some amazing side had won the Premier League. They played Newcastle already down, and they got absolutely battered by Newcastle, and somehow came third in the 2-horse race because of that.
Weren't it like 5-0 to Newcastle that day? Something ridiculous, weren't it?
How can you lose 5-0 to a team and then come third in a 2-horse race? I'd be embarrassed. I'd want my club discontinued with that. But this is a tricky game. You know, you look at the table and go, tricky game, Brad. Bristol City will probably spank it 7 or 8-0. They're on -7. No, but that's the problem. They've got nothing to play for. You know, if they're going to do something crazy and, I don't know, play a striker or 4 strikers and go, 4-2-4 and just want to go at it and go hammer and tong, they have come close to getting a few decent results, and they have actually picked up a few points along the way for it, and they've frustrated a few teams. Bristol City desperately need this win, and I think this is the worst opposition to play them. I'm going to go first for two reasons. A, I'm about to leave you in stunned silence. And B, I really need a wee, so I need you to elongate on this game until I'm back from a wee. I'm actually going to go, again, because I don't think Chris is going to do a prediction thing. I'm going to go Bristol City 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Josh, let that sink in. And, I'm going to put Chris's old face on here so he gets remembered whilst he's in bed. And tell me why I'm an absolute idiot and how many goals Bristol City are going to win this one by.
I don't think you're an idiot at all, pal. I mean, I'm going to go for a Bristol City win, but I think with Sheffield Wednesday, the way I look at it is you've got to sort of see this season as one long pre-season before the summer. Unfortunately, they've got no chance of staying up, really. There's so many points behind, purely for the fact that obviously they had points deductions left, right, and centre. I think Bristol City will win, but Sheffield Wednesday, every game they're putting up a good fight. And if I was a Sheffield Wednesday fan, I'd be beyond proud of how they're playing. They've been through so much turmoil so far this season. I think next season, going into League One, they'll absolutely blitz it. For me personally, I think, with new owners set to come in, who that will be, we don't know. But, obviously they've been in the administration, but they know where they stand now. They've had the points deduction. They know they're going to get relegated. As Brad says, they've got absolutely nothing to lose. Just sort of turning up every game day, seeing what performance they can put up. And as I was saying, Brad, I just think with Sheffield Wednesday, mate, I think going into League One, that they'll blitz that league next season. I think they're a massive club, no matter what anybody says. They are a huge club. With new owners coming in, I think they'll be able to sign a lot of biggish players for that division. A lot of players will buy into the new project, which the new owners, whoever they are, they'll bring in. I can't see them beating Bristol City, so I can't agree with you on this one. But again, like I've said a number of weeks to Sheffield Wednesday, keep doing what you're doing, try and get results as and when you can. It's every game's technically like a friendly for them, really, because we know they're going to get down. But again, like next season with Sheffield Wednesday, when they are in League One, I hate to say it because I had sort of high hopes from staying up, even with a points deduction at the start of the season. I'm going to go for Bristol City. I'll go 3-1 Bristol City on this one. But again, as I say, Sheffield Wednesday, just keep putting in performances like they're doing, make the fans proud, which they are doing, and just see what you can get.
Yeah, and it's one of them. It's one of them stories that's the potential to say that they've already been to League One. They had a few seasons in that division, building themselves back up. If you know it, I'm sure you probably have seen it, even on your socials, whether you want it or not. That epic comeback in the playoff semi-final against Peterborough.
Yeah.
So they've always been quite resilient, no matter who they had, and I love the players' attitude this season. That a lot of them decided to stay. Obviously, some did move on, but you had Barry Bannon, who is a big name for them, who's stuck around. And next season, whether he'll be there or not, you don't know, but you'd imagine they'll keep that unit together and they'll come back stronger. It may be a case of they actually do manage to do what only a few teams have managed. Leicester, one of them, is straight back up from the division, because it's not that easy to do. But I can see them doing that next season. You've gone 3-1 Bristol City. Paul's gone 2-0 to Robin. And I've obviously gone crazy. I must have hit my head or something. I've gone 2-1 Sheffield Wednesday. I'll look a genius if it works. I
hope you're right. I do hope you're right.
Yeah. Well, so do I, funny enough, because if Chris I'm going to look a right, Wally, which is less unusual, granted. But there we go. Now then, Sip Street. See, I'm reading the cue card well. Honestly, guys. Hull City versus Swansea City. Now, this is the way Blackburn fans were probably hoping their season was going to go this season, because last season Hull weren't great. They were down near the bottom. They were struggling throughout. They had a struggling season when we were last in the Championship. I mean, you could say that about us now, couldn't you? But now they are flying, absolutely flying, dismantled Preston. Big 3 points against your playoff rivals at the moment. Comfortably beat them 3-0. I don't think that counts. It's 5 points, I think it is, or 4 points off Middlesbrough. They are off the playoffs. They're at home in this one. Having said that, Swansea, absolutely. No, it might have been Swansea, actually, not Norwich. I don't know. But they've been battering people. I'm well prepared for the show, guys, as you can tell. They've had an uprising form. You know, they've got a bit of a breathing space, 8 points, or 7 points. See, it's because BBC app's useless. Gap between them and the bottom three now. No, it is. No, I'm right. It's 8 points. Well remembered, Brad. Up here for thinking, down there for dancing. A bit of a gap, bit of form has turned it around for them. They've managed to push away from danger, leaving the scrappy 4 or 5 teams below them to fight it out. Can they cause an upset though? Because that would be up there with one of the shocks of the day potentially. Not just because of the league position, but just because of how impervious Paul are at this moment in time. Can you see a way they do that, or is this just is this as predictable as water is wet and Hull win this one comfortably?
I think Hull will win this one. I don't think they'll absolutely batter Swansea. I think that they'll win by a couple of goals. Hull have been really impressive. They brought in the right sort of players. They've got a good mentality. Whenever I've seen them play, they're all playing for each other. Got a good unity about them. They look like they've got a good team spirit, and they're constantly getting results. Swansea have been all right after, sort of. Again, it was sort of maybe a team at the start of the season where I thought they might be in with a shout at top half, maybe sneak into playoffs, but it's not really been that way for them. But having said that, still a good team to watch. I've not actually gone for an away win yet, I don't think, but it's not changing. It's not changing on this one. I'm going to go Hull to win 2-0.
Josh is going for 2-0. Hull win. I have gone for a lot of away. Well, no, actually, I am 3-2 on away wins, and I'm about to level that score into 3-3. And again, I'm going to look very stupid, but when it's a free hit, it's a free hit, isn't it? And if Chris doesn't post any prediction fixtures for the Super Six, I've got nothing to lose in this one. I'm going to go a bit AWOL here, but I'm very impressed with Hull. I'm going to go, and you are hearing this right. You don't need to turn your hearing aids up for this one. I'm going to go Hull City 5.
Fucking
2. Hey!
Swansea what? Sorry?
Swansea 2.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, you say that right. Go back a couple of weeks ago, I predicted Sheffield Wednesday 5, Wrexham 3. And that was a flip. That was a flip. If I'd have gone the other way around, I'd have looked like the biggest psycho genius ever. That game finished 5-3 just to the why not? And again, if Chris does post these, I'm going to look very stupid. And if he doesn't, who cares? It's the best thing for it. Speaking of who cares, Leicester are playing. That's bad. It's bad. This is how bad it is.
It's not, Brad. It's not bad. We're all feeling that way.
Paul did go 3-1 to the Tigers, so it's not as crazy as me. But the thing is, we were talking about this backstage, Josh, and we're not the only one. We're not the only ones out there that are just so blasé now when it comes to watching Leicester. That's something that if you'd have told me when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, you would slowly not lose interest, but your reaction, your passion to watching Leicester would go from like we were excited, bouncing off the walls to oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And we're so numb to how bad we've been for the past 2 years, and this is what it's become. Then I look at Oxford, 4 points adrift to safety. Portsmouth got 2 games in hand. Norwich are in form. It could get worse for them. And they then realise they're playing Leicester and maybe think, oh, maybe. We never know. We have to perform and teams above us drop points and everything goes on. Just, we don't need to talk about where Leicester are because it's just bad. That's where they are. It is bad. I mean, we're not even top of the bottom half of the Championship. It's that bad. I can't even win that one. I mean, we're only 2 points ahead of the side who have Will still managing them for about 12 games and then sacked him and then started winning games in Southampton. You know, at this rate, Norwich have captures and they're only 8 points off us now, but they'll catch us the rate we're going. Josh, I'm, you know what, Josh, just for this, I'm going to set it up for you. So if you don't hit it out of the park, I'm very disappointed in you. I won't be angry, I'm disappointed. It can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
Good lad! Yeah, good lad. Good lad. Yeah, good lad. Whoosh!
You know what it is, mate? We've said this. We've all said this as Leicester fans. Like, and any football fan can take losing. I can take Leicester losing as long as I'm sort of entertained and I see a pitch out, a side out there with 11 players that are running the bollocks off and they're trying, and you could sort of see a game plan where at the end of the day, if you're beaten by the better team, but you've had a right good go and you've shown that things are progressing, then you can hold your hands up and say, you know what, that's fine. We've been there so many times with Leicester in the past. Fucking hell, we've all seen us playing League One, and I have never in my lifetime of supporting Leicester been as disassociated, bored, not arsed, and it sounds awful, but even when, I mean, Coventry, for example, on Saturday, we went 1-0 up, and Grant, to be fair, first half, we actually played all right, but you just knew it wasn't going to last. You knew it weren't going to last, and it's happened so many times this season.
LCFC is what I call us.
Yeah.
I called us that for 12 games last season before we sacked Cooper.
Yeah.
He had to play well for 45 minutes. But at least he mixed it up. At least Steve Cooper mixed it up, because sometimes we'd be terrible in the first half and brilliant. Yeah. This Spanish donkey's got us playing bad boat in the second half.
I don't know what it is where you sort of think, why come out and change things after half time when first off, we've, compared to the rest of the season and taking the rest of the season into account, we've played pretty well. We should have been I think we should have been at least 2-0 up on Saturday, but then you come out second half and it's just like, fucking hell, we're just waiting for Coventry to score. And every time we've conceded for the last God knows how many months now, it's been a case of, well, we knew that was going to happen anyway. So it doesn't, I wish I felt more, but I just don't at the minute. I'm really not arsed either way. And it sounds awful, I know, because, for majority of my life, Leicester's been everything to me, and it always will be, no matter what. You can't ever change that, but I want that feeling to come back of actually caring on match day. At the minute, I couldn't really give a shit if we win or lose, to be honest. I mean, you win, it makes your weekend a bit better. But at the minute, when we're getting beat or we're not playing very well, it's a case of I've completely forgot about it within 5 minutes and I just carry on my day. This weekend, mate, I can just see more of the same. I think we'll probably go 1-0 up first half, come out second half, scared to sort of press on and get the second, and Oxford are litters, mate. I hate to say it, but I think Oxford will win this one 2-1, pal.
You know what? This would be the part of a show where Chris or myself being in the host for go, you Judas, can't believe it. And the saddest thing is, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Do you know how bad we've been this season, right? LCFC .com. They do a predictors league. Now, I'm not blowing my own trumpet at being good at predictors. I'm not going to mention the fact I'm a 2-time champion in the prediction league show. They do a thing. It's purely Leicester. You predict the full-time score. You predict what minute the first goal is going to go in. You predict who's going to have the most possession, how many shots. I think that's all of them. I'm somehow seconding it because I've been pessimistic against Leicester because I've gone. I watched the Wrexham game, right? And do you know when I got the most animated? I'd gone Wrexham to have the most possession. It came up 53% possession to Leicester. I went, that's bullshit! That's not I'm actually not that bothered though because you get 2 free season tickets if you come first. And at this point,
you don't want to fucking win it.
No, I'm like, no, I'll take second. It's only 2 home games I have to go to in hospitality, so I might take that. But this is one of them games where this is the story of Marty Cifuentes. We're getting sick of him. He's doing a head in. We've been crap for half of every game, so still consistently half the season we've been crap. Some games we've even managed to be bad in both halves. That's a skill and a talent. That's the real one. We got absolutely West Brommed when we played Coventry because West Brom could have been 3-0 up against us.
Yeah,
we nicked it and went down and then winning the game. Case in point, could have been 3-0 up, ended up losing the game. And this is a game where I can see the same thing happening, but I just feel that we will just be on par with how bad Oxford have been this season. And I'm going to go. I mean, I can't go 0-0 because that's just stupid.
Yeah. Fucking hell, we don't keep clean sheets, Brad.
And for that reason, I'm going to go 1-1.
You know, if you'd have gone 0-0, for me, that's a bigger shout than your Hull 5, Swansea 2, or whatever it was.
Yeah, don't say that too loud because Mr. can't do the prediction Super 6 has come and gone, but he was in the background there. I'm going to go 1-1 because I'm just not convinced we're going to win. I'm convinced we'll take the lead, and then I'm convinced we'll sit back for 45 minutes, and in the 80th minute, Oxford will go an equaliser. Howdy to Prashant. He's also gone 1-0, but he's gone. Leicester will concede with a stupid mistake, whilst Marty and the coaching staff will be browsing the Deliveroo app. There was like I'm surprised it didn't get more traction on the internet. There was a 30 seconds where Marty had the camera on him during the game on Tuesday night, and that's me and this pen are going to fall out. Me and this pen are not getting on. Stay. Good pen. Right? Where Marty was looking down at his phone, the tablet, whatever, and he was like this. You could see him having his eyes closed, and it just felt like, God, mate, if you're falling asleep, I shouldn't be feeling like that's what I'm surprised I didn't do the rounds. How interesting is the game where your manager's falling asleep? Paul said I paid to watch football, not this shower of proverbials. Chuckle Brothers have risen, that we have. Shane down says it's bad when it gets to this, but when Leicester scored the other day, I didn't care. You know what, Shane? Same. I said to Josh before we came live, I said I was watching the game half and half. I was more on my phone than watching the game, and it wasn't until I heard the commentator scream Vestergaard's name, which is the most Yannick's heard his name being screamed in a long time. But that's for a different reasons that might be the case. I kind of went, we've robbed them, and I didn't even blip on the radar. Paul has gone 1-0 Oxford at half time, 2-0 Leicester in the second half. So he's gone 2-1 to Leicester. That's very cleverly done. I think that's more of a shot that he's gone for us to have a good second half. Yeah. Exactly, Prashant. He said, Brad can't go 0-0 because Leicester can never keep a clean sheet. Not can most people, but for different reasons. Moving on from that, you've got one of the furthest travelled games in this division to go. I mean, I failed geography, so knowing me, I'm wrong on this statement, but it's London from Wales. Wales. We all know about that. Queen's Park Rangers take on Wrexham, and do you know what? Wrexham are ninth and 2 points off the playoffs, and QPR have had a bit of a dip. They didn't have the great start. They powered up off form, and they've had a little bit of a dip. But again, a win shows how close it is. They're sat in 12th, and a win. All right, they would need a goal swing, to be fair, but a win and the right results would at least put them back in contention for it. And they could go in the playoffs. Again, they need a bit of a goal swing. They're -1 to Preston's 7, but they could do it. It shows you how close the division is. It's crazy to think that, saying that as well, I look at 38 and think that ain't all that far off the playoffs itself, which is crazy considering how diabolical we've been. I only want this result to happen because Chris Sutton is the most insufferable prick I've ever known. That man must be pure soul, because ever since Leicester won that Premier League title, he has found any and every straw he can grasp at to say, this will be bigger than that. No, it fucking won't. Bro thinks Macclesfield beating Crystal Palace was bigger than Leicester. The bro clutches more at straws than anybody I've ever met in my life. Now, I'm not saying this wouldn't be a great achievement, but the fact that he said if Wrexham go back to back promotions, it'd be bigger than Leicester winning the Premier League. No, it fucking wouldn't. Because first of all, they had the financial backing, right, to bring in superstars throughout the Conference and League Two, right? Second of all, they had, I know it wasn't in League Two, but they had Ben Foster going there. They had people dropping down 2 divisions to join them because they know what this season and the next coming seasons is going to pay dividends for them, not sacrificing 2 years of career because they still played every week and got paid good money, but they were dropping down to League Two and League One when they may be high championship standard players, which is where they are now, and they're proving that where they are. But just blame Chris Sutton, Wrexham, because I have no issues with you actually going into the playoffs and winning it. But just purely because I don't want you to, I'm going to go QPR 2, Wrexham 0, just so I can tell Chris Sutton on Twitter at some point to cry more. But that's on Chris Sutton, not you guys, because I actually don't mind Wrexham. I actually like Leicester. It's just more so I can tell him to cry more. But yeah, I'm on the fence. Josh, you may not hold this in same regard as me, in the same anger as I do towards Chris Sutton. Maybe you do in general towards Chris Sutton because he is a massive prick. But where do you see it? Is Wrexham continuing on their recent form, or are QPR going to resurge back into the playoffs with this one?
I think, touching on the Chris Sutton quickly, I've never been really a massive fan of him. He's never
have either.
He's never really had amazing things to say about us. I think what really pissed him off was when Rodgers left Celtic to come to us. That sort of seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back for him. I remember him saying that Celtic reserves are bigger than us. I mean, he's probably right now, but
yeah, he wasn't back then. He couldn't even get close to us back then.
Yeah. Nah, for me, I mean, he's one of them. He sort of he says a lot of things just for traction and just to get a reaction. But we're all biased. But I think even most neutral fans would sort of say when we won the Premier League, it was the biggest sporting thing to happen in fucking history, really. But anyway, going off Chris Sutton, yeah, Wrexham, they are up there. Maybe they could sneak into the playoffs, but I think it's just so close. It's so close. QPR at home. It's hard to really say. Again, bit of an inconsistent team. They can turn up and you don't really know what you're going to get with them. Plenty of goals in this one, I think. I think they both sort of do. They tend to concede quite a few. I'm going to go for my second Desmond on this one, pal. I'm going to go 2-2.
He's going for the Desmond. Some say that Josh is Chris in disguise. Others say Others say he loves his boss that much, he's gone bottom of it. Just all we know is he's the Desmond King and he is Josh. Oh, sorry. That's why he keeps a cap on, because he knows I'll call him Tyson as soon as that comes
That's it.
It's Dosser. He's a bomb. He's a bomb. That's why I'm talking about Marty. Here we go, though. Two teams that, well, one's been a bit of an embarrassment every time they go up to the Premier League, and the other one's Ipswich Town. It's two teams that were probably hoping to be up there. Now, one's recovered and is flying, obviously, until Wednesday's result against Stoke, between Middlesbrough and Stoke, did go into the automatic zones in Ipswich Town. Kieran McKenna is a different breed of manager, because, you know, this could have easily gone Luton Town straight down, but he hasn't. He's held the team together. He's got them bouncing. He's got them going. Prashant's gone QPR 3, Wrexham 2. And Sheffield United, I mean, they kind of deserve to be struggling, not because Chris Wilder's a bad manager, but you sat the guy who gets you in the playoffs, nearly gets you back in the Premier League, which, if you look at certain teams in the Premier League, may have been a blessing in disguise, because they probably would have given Wolves their first win of the season after game week 4 or something, knowing Sheffield United. But they've just struggled since. Yeah, that hit returning is someone I would have taken at Leicester. And I think had that looming return not potentially happened, and maybe our owners actually grew a pair, we could have gotten through the door instead of Marty. Do you see this being any different before we move on to the Sunday games? I know you're a bit pressed for time, so I'll get a little bit of a thing for you.
No, I think with Sheffield United, as you say, I think had they just not sacked Wilder and he'd have been there at the start of the season, they'd have definitely been up there, because you can see from most of the games where he's come back, they've looked pretty good. You know, they've had some heavy losses along the way, and they've lost games where you sort of thought, well, I'd have fancied them to beat them there, but at home, Ipswich are flying. They're picking up good results. They've hit a right good run of form as well, and they are a good team. Ipswich, you know, I think sort of last season they brought in players where you'd probably think, with one eye of maybe going down, they've brought in players that do well from in the Championship, as we're seeing so far this season, and they're a well-drilled team. Exactly what you said, Brad, about McKenna. He's a top manager, and you know, keeping your manager that got you promoted, then took you down. They do see a lot in him, and he's done brilliant for them. So, with this one, I can see Sheffield scoring, but I'll go for 2-1 Ipswich on this one.
Going 2-1 Ipswich Town. Yeah, I can also see Sheffield United scoring. I can see it being a game where everybody kind of goes, oh, hold on a minute, what's going on there? Sheffield, you know, it's half time, it's 1-0, it's 60 minutes, it's 1-0. But McKenna just has this ability to, and you look at the squad on paper, they're not pulling up trees. There's no big standout name, but what they've got, and it's something that Leicester used to have, you know, before, because we made standout names. You know, let's be honest. Yes, Madison had Coventry and Norwich, probably wasn't Premier League proven. Tillemans, okay, yeah, Monaco was doing okay, but he wasn't proven anywhere else. A young lad as well. We made these players. I know that sounds a bit egotistical, but fuck it, it is.
You're right.
We did. And again, Casper was allowed to step out the shadow of his father, make his own reputation, because he played for Leicester and got us, you know, was in promotion and survival and all that followed. You know, these players came to us, and Didi, very well known, you know, very well known around the English game. So far, I actually heard a rumour that Manchester United are trying to get him on a loan. Don't know how true that is. On Twitter, I very much doubt it'll happen, but you never know with Man U. But I can see this being a game where it looks like it's going to be a shock, and then all of a sudden Ipswich blow them away. Me and my friend could become good friends when it comes to predictions because I'm matching him. I'm going Sheffield United 1, Ipswich Town 3. So we're near the end, final curtain, and all that jazz. I apologise that it's gone on a little bit. I know you said you need to get gone by 8 o'clock. So we'll talk quickly about the most important game on Sunday because no one cares about Norwich and Coventry because one finger at one hand, how many fingers, I'm not falling in, I'm not going to go on about, the rumours of Norwich and Coventry people. That's none of my business. Huge derby on Sunday, Portsmouth and Southampton. Southampton and Portsmouth are close in the table, and if you told one set of fans that they were close to their rivals on the table, they probably would be hoping it wouldn't be at the bottom of the championship. Portsmouth obviously survived last season after returning after a stay outside of the championship. They've been a bit of a mainstay team. They obviously had a few seasons in the Premier League. They had some quality era of signings under Redknapp, who wanted Herman Ryderson, Nico Cranchar, and that old cliche comes with Defoe and Crouch went wherever he went. On a European night, if you told them they were a couple of points off Southampton, they'd be hoping it was 6 and 8, wouldn't they? Obviously, they'd love to be above them, but, take what it is. Portsmouth, this isn't do or die, obviously, because they're only, they are a point or two away from being a few points clear of safety, 4 or 5 points clear, a good couple of results. Southampton, a bit like Sheffield United, had that recovery, that new moment as he is, but not really gone on and pushed on since. In fact, the results have really faltered as of late. It's why they're still in that relegation fight at this moment in time. This either goes one or two ways. There's either a hatful or there's no goals. Where do you see this one going? Who's your money on for the big South Coast derby?
I think there could potentially be a hatful here because it's a derby. I think if you're a betting man, you'd probably back Southampton, but because it's at Fratton Park, mate, I'm going to go for Portsmouth.
He is.
I think, like you say, Southampton have sort of dropped off again after the new manager came in. They had some really good results, one of them being against us, which was obviously shit for us. But I don't think Southampton will be in any real danger of getting relegated come the end of the season. I think they'll probably finish around mid-table. Portsmouth, I think they've got enough in them to stay up relatively comfortably. For this one, I'm going to go Portsmouth 3, Southampton 2.
Oh, yeah, beauty. Wow, Portsmouth fans will be very happy with you. And this has got all the makings of what could be a great game. And for the neutral, it's probably one of them that you might stick on the telly, because it's more exciting than anything the Premier League's throwing out. Because no one cares. I call it the Premier VAR League because that just ruins football as it is. You want a good game, and you kind of want to see this be goals galore. You want to see it be an interesting game. You don't want the dreaded 0-0 because all the hype, all the talk, and they're going to play out the most boring game of the weekend. That would just be typical. And I'm not going to go for that. I normally have my last on ITV4, the ball draw, as they call it, on ITV4, which is with the highlights. I don't know if they've moved now, but they were 2 seasons ago. It was on ITV4. I used to be able to get it, but I'm not 100% certain now. But I am going to go for a goal fest. And if the first one doesn't work, make sure you've got another. I'm going for a second Desmond. I'm going for a 2-2. And that has nothing to do with the fact that one of my seniors at work is a Portsmouth fan. It's got everything to do with the fact that I think this game is going to be a And we're definitely codependent on whether Portsmouth get battered or draw or win this game. It definitely doesn't have any effect on it. Moving on to the last game, Monday night. It could be, well, it could be short, really, couldn't it? Because it's in-form teams, which is strange to say where you consider Norwich were, but that shows you how bad they have been. Now, they have the knackers to sack their manager. When we won 1 in 10, or whatever it was back then, we didn't have the balls to sack our manager. Paul did go 2-1 Saints and Prashant went 1-0 Portsmouth. Again, sorry guys. I'm only just getting back into hosting. I'm not used to having to do all this. This could be a hell of a game, couldn't it? You got Norwich in form. They absolutely smashed I think it was West Brom 5-0. They've smashed somebody at the midweek. They're on an upturning form. That fears of relegation look like if they keep going on this trajectory, they're going to easily avoid relegation. And they're coming up against Coventry, who, yes, did hold on against Millwall. Yes, they did win the most massive M69 derby in the world, because as if it's named after a motorway, it's a massive derby. Are Coventry just getting the rub of the green, like Leicester did under Enzo, where they're not playing brilliantly, not controlling games, but they're somehow sneaking out a win or a draw? And do they come up and stuck? And do they get the same hit, or do Norwich keep going?
I think as much as we all like to see Coventry doing so well at the minute, it shows the signs of a good team, mate. Start the season they were blowing teams away left, right, and centre. Lately, results for them have been where they've snuck goals late on. If you can do that and you get promoted, then it's even better, isn't it? Really, going into this game, as you say, had this been played couple of months ago, you'd probably put your house on Coventry winning by at least 3 or 4. But I think it's going to be a lot closer this time. Norwich picking up results now when it matters. I think carry on the way they're going. They'll continue to pull away from the relegation zone. Whether they're going to be down there at the end of the season, who knows? Maybe it could be a purple patch for them at the minute. I'm going to go Coventry. I'll go 2-1 Coventry on this one.
He's going 2-1 to Coventry on this one. Yeah, I mean, all joking aside, we give it the big one. We give them the stick. They say have fun in League One. I turn around and say have fun getting 4 points in the Premier League next season. But at the end of the day, rivalry in footballs have got a bit tame, if anything. They've got a little bit too pally friendly. I mean, because Chris isn't here, I can say this without hearing a snoring sound effect. But it's a bit like the Ashes. I know England got humiliated 4-1. But even that, I remember when Warren and Gilchrist and Brett used to snarl at them, get in their faces. Even Mitchell Johnson in the mid to late 10s era really brought it back. But now it's all like, oh, well played, you deserve that. Oh, well done on your 100, mate. Bit like this. Yeah, on the day, we'll give you all the sticking away and all that when we win or lose, whatever. But it just feels a bit blasé. But anyway, as much as my heart wants me to go Norwich 17, Cov 0, that's got nothing to do with that I don't like Coventry. No. I am going to go for a little bit of a scare, but they like this result recently, so I'm going to go with it. I'm going to join you, Josh. I think that's the first time we've completely agreed to this, because there's no way you agreed with me on Hull Swansea. So Norwich 1, Coventry 2.
Safe bet that one.
Safe bet. And remember, don't gamble, but when the fun stops, stop if you do. And if you want to take on any of our predictions in that sense, don't hold us responsible.
Don't take mine into account, fuck's sake.
Either, because just because I'm doing that doesn't mean it is. Anyway, Josh, thank you very much for getting on tonight. I ran a little bit late over the time that you requested off, but I refuse your time to leave. But We will be back same time next week. I believe this is the time we're settled in for on this show. But you guys, before you leave, don't get too cozy yet. Go and get yourself all nice and warm. Get a blanket. Get a hot drink, because I am back in about 40 minutes for, as you can see at the bottom, the preview show. It's Leicester versus Oxford. We're talking the game between our guests, the Oxford fan Mark, who will be joining me at 9 o'clock. So if you are new here, first of all, hello. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the show, and I hope you've turned your notifications on. Because if you haven't turned them on to all, you won't get notified every time we go live. And then you might be sat here at 5 to 9 going, what, you said they were live? 5 past 9 and he's still not gone live. Well, if your notifications aren't set to all, you won't get told about it. But that is at 9 o'clock. I'm going to take a little break. Josh has got things to do, so I'm going to let him go. Josh, thanks very much for coming on, buddy. And
very welcome, mate.
We will do a quick recap on the next one and see who did well. I would say who did best, but let's say who sucked the least on it. And that's all right, because that'll always be me that says I didn't do any. But again, sure, Brad, you got to show it's not watching. Thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. And I'll be right back in about 40 minutes today. See you in about 40 minutes, guys. Take care.
See you next week, pal.
See you next week, buddy.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.